It is Olympic season, and boy oh boy, we're off to an interesting start. We already got some lowlights like the controversial Paris Olympics opening. We were shocked by the mockery of the Last Supper during the opening ceremonies of the Paris Olympics. The Last Supper was shocking and insulting our advertising for around the world. We were shocked by the mockery of the Last Supper.
It's entirely possible.
And highlights like the anti-sex Olympic beds, Simone Biles, his husband taking notes for some reason, and arguably the undisputed greatest cameraman work of all time. But above all this sits one issue. We have to thank Noah Lyles for giving us the greatest basketball we've seen in the last decade. So I want to preface this by saying I'm not big on sports talk. I'm not like some sort of NBA analyst as a side job or whatever, but I am a huge basketball fan, as you could probably tell from this video right here. So I'll just tell you what happened, and then I'll give you my take on the whole situation. So just a little under a year ago now, Noah Lyles dropped this infamous interview where he critiqued the NBA for calling themselves world champions.
You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States?
His whole argument was that because the NBA finals only happen on US soil, that means they're technically not world champions, they're merely national champions, essentially calling the US egotistical. And my goodness, the Americans dogged this man for that. Somebody help this brother. Whatever, I'm smoking Buddy in the 200 meters. The fuck? Lol, is somebody going to tell him? Yeah, this ain't it. When being smart goes wrong. And dude is what? Champion of running? Someone needs to humble bro. Meanwhile, the world champion Jokic having the celebration of his life in Serbia. Try to beat him, Junior. This guy is a nobody, LMAO. Man's just won a race and used his light to devalue the NBA champion. Ha ha ha. Concussion protocol, please.
So Noah Lyles said a very ignorant comment. Because
the thing is though, do they have a point? Who the hell is this Noah Lyles guy to say who is a world champion and who's not?
He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. He promised 3, he's delivered 3. Oh, he is a world champion. Maybe he wasn't aware of it at the time, but because of this interview, Noah Lyles single-handedly ignited a flame in the basketball community. I've never seen this many people be this passionate about basketball outside of North Korean cheerleaders. It was almost like their lives depended on it. There was less outrage for an attempted presidential assassination than Noah Lyles critiquing the US. It was nuts. But anyways, all of this came to a boiling point when the Americans suffered a heartbreaking loss to us, the Canadians, at the 2023 FIBA World Cup.
Canada gets this one, an extremely emotional Canadian team.
The worst part is this wasn't even for gold. This was just to get on the podium in 3rd place. So to many, they felt like the US dynasty had finally fallen and that they'd lost their iron grip on the basketball world once and for all. However, the US didn't take kindly to this narrative, since shortly afterwards, who else but LeBron James started the Avenger Initiative.
How much truth was there to that? We know that you told us you have interest in playing for that team.
Yeah. No, I do have a lot of interest in playing in Paris. I have a history of playing with Team USA, obviously everyone knows that, and we have a lot of great players.
You talked to some of those guys?
We've been in communication.
He went around the whole country recruiting players like Steph, AD, Kawhi, Ant, Embiid, Booker, KD, and all these other players to prove once again that Olympic basketball is US basketball. But here's where things took an unexpected turn. On July 10th, USA Basketball, or USAB, hosted 5 exhibition games which took place before going to Paris. In this exhibition, Team USA got to play against a multitude of teams that they'll play against in the Olympics, and it was a great way to gauge where they are compared to the rest of the world. With so many accomplished players all playing in the same team, people expected Team USA to dominate as they did during the Dream Team era. And so did I. I was expecting back-to-back double-digit blowout games, scoring at will, triple-doubles from every player on the court, making their opponents look foolish. I thought this is what should have happened. But then they got on the court.
By this point, Team USA was going into this match with a clean 3-0 record, as expected, and they were slated to continue showcasing the same dominance against South Sudan. And that seemed to be the case since less than 1 minute into the game, Team USA already scored their first bucket with an electrifying dunk by none other than my Pookie, my savior, my king, LeBron James. And they proceeded to score the next 12 points essentially uncontested. Now, other hoopers could probably relate with me on this one. Generally, when there's a huge competitive disparity between two teams, a 10-point lead early on can cost a team the entire game, especially if they're not at the same power levels. Oh my goodness, I've seen this in every single game that I've ever played where anyone was above 6 foot. Yeah, that's right, I'm a midget, I'm the same height as Charlie, get your laughs out now, what the fuck ever now. But we've also seen this competitive disparity in the 1992 Dream Team where deficits went up to 68 points. So let's see how South Sudan reacted to this challenge.
A little leakage, a little help. Joel bodies up.
Gabriel knocks down the three.
He's smaller, and obviously the impact defensively.
Sometimes as babies, many of these players immigrated to Australia.
Joel.
Good positioning by Cole. And
they've done a great job balancing the floor of the USA. And as I say that,
basket, so a good rate going. Tough. McCoy with the kick out. Another
nice challenge.
Forcing Dang to drive, and
one of the few times he's gotten the touch.
Only 2 touches in the paint, and then he's able to kick it out. And Shea
scraping, and look at this.
Carly Jones finding
the open middle, so you got to stay at home on a show. Tough shot.
It left in the second. It's Thor separating from Davis. Shea though has been hot. Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness. By some miracle, South Sudan eventually pulled ahead with a 16-point lead over Team USA. They weren't even slacking on defense either. Many times they forced South Sudan to put up tough baskets, but it didn't matter. They were making everything through contact, through traffic, off balance, put back dunks. This one player, Mariel Shayok, dropped 25 on their heads with 50% shooting from 3, and another player, Carly Jones, dropped the 15-point triple-double bomb, which kept them within striking range up until the very end. It took a 71 field goal performance from an ancient 39-year-old LeBron James to pull past South Sudan by 1 point. 1 point. These South Sudanese boys were playing out of their minds. And with that said, here's my take. US basketball is not going to be the best for much longer. As impressive as the Dream Team's performance was back in 1992, people made the observation that they only faced 9 other NBA players during their historic run, whereas the 2024 team is facing 61. That is 11% of the total amount of NBA players back in 2022 to 2023. So that means the 1992 Dream Team had a huge advantage over 2024, since now they're facing a lot more NBA level talent than ever before. Mariel Shayok, who I mentioned before, he played for the 76ers, and Carly Jones for the Bulls. Matter of fact, in every single-digit win the US had in the USAB showcase, they had to compete with a total of 18 other NBA players. Brother, those are just regular season games. But this time, one of the teams is cheating. Okay, I understand I've thrown out a lot of numbers at you guys, which probably doesn't mean much. So instead, I'll show you the impact the NBA's had on an international level. This is Nkwain Kennedy. You may have seen him before in your For You page. He's a basketball player. He blew up a while back for being absolutely relentless in his training. This is the guy that was out there shooting in the rain, pulling tires upstairs, and lifting with makeshift weights. And he does all this because he hopes to one day make it into the NBA. He literally trains for every situation. Name it and he probably has a video of himself doing that. If there was a F5 tornado inside the gym whose range was small enough to only affect one of the baskets, he has a video on that. He trains for that. He's dropping 30, no question. The reason why I bring him up is because he's amassed a huge following of 3.4 million on TikTok. And since TikTok is primarily used by kids, he's directly inspiring a lot of other Cameroonian kids to pick up the ball. And who wouldn't be inspired? The entire time the guy is training, there's a civil war going on. Sometimes in his videos, he has to stop training and take cover because the war would get too close and bullets would just start flying by, man.
I've always been scared for my life while training because we see dead body every day where I come from. Like Like the last video I posted of me lying down, the bullets were flying over the court, and we had to go down kind of for an hour or two.
His situation is just insane, and I absolutely recommend you to go check out his story. It's some inspiring stuff. I really do wish him the best. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to say. I think the NBA could absolutely use some more international players, not only because they're so talented nowadays, but also because I want the NBA to adopt more FIBA rules, especially, oh my God, especially the foul calls. For the longest time now, I've been losing my mind every single time that refs would call the most BS fouls. Like, look at this shit. One thing I loved about the Olympics was seeing NBA players try to bait for fouls and the refs just stand there, completely apathetic to their attempts, man. It was honestly a breath of fresh air. But anyways, yeah, that's about all I really wanted to say. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.